Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here today. So I just wanted to do a little video on about letting go and stop caring about what everybody else is thinking about you. I just watched this video recently and it was interesting. So I thought I would maybe try and put my wee spin on it and see if anybody was interested in it. So we're talking about letting go and stop caring about what everybody else is thinking out there. It's really not that important. You're quite unique. Everybody is unique in their own way, and you should embrace yourself and move forward. I'm in my 40s, early 40s. I'm not that old, but I still maybe do think sometimes I could be halfway through my life, and I want to keep on doing and trying new things and make sure I maximize every day, every week, every month and every year, so I don't get to the end of my life and have regrets. We have to get rid of the dead weight that holds on to us, all of us sometimes in certain periods of our life, and you have to kind of filter that out because it's not good for you. You have to associate with groups that you're comfortable. Don't associate with groups or people that you're constantly fighting to try and fit in. You should always be yourself. It's important for your mental health and your physical health. Yes, when we're young, we are always trying to fit in because it's safe. We are groups, we want to be accepted, so we kind of bend and twist ourselves mentally to fit into that group so we're accepted. But it's not a healthy approach. Some people will continue to do that their whole lives, and they'll become quite sad and unhappy with where their life is. But you have to stop behaving like you were in childhood, and for some people it can be quite scary to move away from home, make friends, try new adventures, accept that you're going to make mistakes, but it's part of life, and I think it can allow you to grow really well and truthfully and honestly, and that can make you the best person ever. So in 2004, I decided I'd had enough of where I was living, a small town in Scotland. I'd finished my apprenticeship and I decided that was it. So in one hand it was literally these words. In one hand it was surfing in Australia or snowboarding in Canada. And I went back and forth, couldn't decide. I weighed up all the positives and negatives of both countries, and I opted for Canada. I went through a company called Bunak. I'm not sure if they're even still going, but they were great, and they kind of helped people go abroad because it was such a big step. The most I'd done, I'd gone to Europe on bus trips with my family, but I'd never left home at this point. So I found this company called Bunak, and they sent packages. I'd done an interview over the phone to get a job when I got in Canada, because the thought of going to Canada without any work did scare me a bit too much. However, I had allocated a few days before that, arriving in Canada, just to see the sights and then go to work. So at the beginning of December 2004, packed up the bags. Parents took me to Edinburgh Airport and I flew to London. And spent the night down there. I still remember it like it was yesterday, watching the planes come in from my bedroom window, thinking I'm going away to the other side of the world tomorrow. And met up with all the same people, well, all the people in a similar boat at the airport, and there was quite a group of us on the plane across to Vancouver, direct flight, landed up in Vancouver, and spent a couple of nights there before flying to Calgary to go work in Banff and spend approximately 8 months there. Like I said, going to Canada was, I'd made that decision because I've had enough of where I was living. Something didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I was fitting in. So yeah, like I said, I went away to Canada because something didn't feel right where I stayed. I felt like I was moulding myself to fit in there when it should have been kind of the other way around. And it was the best decision ever. And to this day, anybody that talks about it, if I speak to somebody younger than me, that's maybe, just finishing school. I was speaking to somebody a few months ago, and they were going away to Iceland, and I was saying, go into Canada, do as much travelling as you can before you get commitments, because when the commitments come along, it restricts you, and wanting to do things like travelling, try new adventures. So yeah, I always say to people, go away, do the travelling. But going away to Canada was the best thing, and it changed me for the better. It put me on a new path, made me grow up quite quickly, because you have to understand I was quite young back then, and my mum had looked after me quite well, as my dad. They were both great parents, and they were always there for me, done so much for me. So when I landed up in Canada, it was having to deal with the washing, the cooking, etc. And being very independent. And I will admit, I almost caved within 3 weeks of being there. I was so homesick. But I got through it, and I got through it with the two girls I lived with. So those two girls were Suzanne and Julie, which I've never seen again for ever since I left Canada. But they understood how homesick I was. They made a great Christmas dinner, everything. And then after that, I was like, I didn't want to go home. Everything just fell into place. They'd almost helped me set a new path, found my new self, the person that I actually was, not what the person I had been trying to be in where I came from to fit into groups. And I had a new outlook. And from that day on in Canada, it was just an amazing experience. I was going out as more adventurous, more confident. I learned to snowboard, I learned to climb, I went on adventures, I made friends who I never thought I would be friends with. I had great relationships, and then from there, when the 8 months finished, I finished my work, my new challenges. I travelled through America before coming back to Canada at the end of the year, and then heading back to the UK. So like I said, this set me on a new path, and new goals, new adventures, and it changed me for the best. I never looked back after that, and friendships kind of weren't the same when I came back from Canada, because I was being me. So I wasn't trying to fit in anymore, and as a result, those friendships kind of disappeared. But then, not long after coming back from Canada, I met my wife, and we connected, and we started our journey together. Now, if I hadn't gone to Canada, would have I met my wife? I don't know. Would I be where I am today if I hadn't gone to Canada? I don't know. Probably not. I might never have built out that confidence and taken that step to leave. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with maybe never leaving the town if you're... I know lots of people who are still there where I come from, and they're happy. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as they are happy what they're doing with their lives. That's all that matters. It's when you're trying to change your life to fit into almost like another life. That's not right, and that's not healthy for you. You need to be yourself and have your own life. I'm not one to be in front of the mirror, doing the hair, styling away. Before I went to Canada, I was like that, styling the hair, grooming, etc., deodorant. Makes me sound really bad now, but hear me out. So yeah, I'd spend a lot of time getting ready. I think a lot of teenagers do. They like to get all... I won't use some of the words that you'd use as a teenager back in Scotland, but you like to get all smart appearance, to go out to the pubs and, you know, just socialise and attract ladies. But when I went away to Canada, the environment, the kind of group, it was social. It was more me. It was more relaxed, kind of snowboarder, biker kind of scene, and I realised that's where I was. So now I'm comfortable in not getting my hair cut every 4 weeks. I actually just shave my head, and I'm happy with that style. Sometimes I'll grow a bit stubble, because I like that, and I don't go and spend excessive amounts of money on clothes. I don't believe in that, but I keep myself of a tidy appearance because that's what I believe in. And yeah, that's what I'm happy with. I don't want to look a mess either for my wife. So I'm not trying to be somebody different from my wife. My wife loves me for who I am. And that's the person I am. I just keep a tidy appearance, trying to be somebody you're not, mentally or physically, because it will slowly break you down. Find somebody that loves you and respects you for who you are, and you'll be happy. Not necessarily like a partner, but in a group as well. I'm not that fussed about being in a group anymore. That was another thing I learned going away. I'm quite a loner. I enjoy my space, and that's nice. Some people struggle to be by themselves, and I know doctors, psychologists say we're social creatures, and yeah, there is an element I don't mind of being social, but I actually prefer walking away in the woods, just me and the dog, and being in nature, or being in the fields that I have. It brings me peace and comfort, and that's nice if you can find that. But if you are there sitting watching this and you're in a group or in a relationship and you feel like you are not, like you're changing yourself every day to be part of that relationship or be part of that group, maybe that relationship or that group is not for you. Maybe it's time to take a step back, look at it from an outside perspective, and change that relationship or group. I don't know, it's something you need to ask yourself. But if you can't be yourself, it's not healthy being in that relationship or in that group. It's common sense. You know, fitting in is putting everybody in front of you. And how can that again be healthy? It's not. You've got to put yourself first. And I don't think that's selfish. You have to think about yourself and then those circles out. And if you can't fit in, if you're still the outsider, and you want to be in that group or that relationship, speak to that person or that group. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not the end of the world. You're quite unique as an individual. Nobody's the same as you. Nobody has the same hair, the same way you look, the same fingerprints. Everybody's so different, and that's quite an amazing thing. So you're very unique and you should believe in yourself. Listen to these few words by Brené Brown. Fitting in is becoming who you think you need to be in order to be accepted. Okay? I'll read that again. Fitting in is becoming who you think you need to be in order to be accepted. Belonging is being your authentic self and knowing that no matter what happens, you belong to you. Once more, belonging is being your authentic self and knowing that no matter what happens, you belong to you. Those are some simple words there. So sit down and have a really good think about them. It might change your life. But whatever age you are, if you're in your 20s, or maybe I can't comment too much if you're above early 40s like me, but maybe I can. But wherever you are in your age bracket or your age, the clock's always ticking for us. So live your life to the fullest and enjoy it. You only get one shot and you've got to make the most of it every day. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video today. It's just a few words. It was just in my head and I thought it was interesting. But if you did like it, give me a like, share it out to your friends, and even subscribe. That'd be great and help me grow this channel.